the House of Squibb presents Academy Award. Every week, Squibb brings you Hollywood's finest, the great picture plays, the great actors and actresses, chosen from the honor roll of those who have won or been nominated for the famous Golden Oscar of the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences. And now, E.R. Squibb & Sons, manufacturing chemists to the medical profession since 1858, bring you the distinguished star, Mr. Humphrey Bogart, who as Best Actor of the Year was nominated for the 1943 Academy Award. Tonight, Mr. Bogart will play the famous role he created for the screen in The Maltese Falcon, the thrilling mystery which was nominated as Best Production of the Year for the 1941 Academy Award.
My name is Spade, Sam Spade, license number 357896, issued by the Police Department of San Francisco, occupation private detective, sometimes known as Private Eye. My files in the case of the Maltese Falcon are closed, but I've got the Maltese Falcon. I got it and some dough. 3 other people weren't so lucky. They got murdered. I'll tell you about it. This slick dame comes to see me one day. Effie announced her around 3 o'clock. Said there was a girl to see me by the name of Wonderly.
There's a woman wants to see you, Sam. Says her name's Wonderly.
What is she, Effie? A customer?
Well, I guess so. You want to see her anyway. She's a knockout.
Well, shoo her in, Effie, darling. Shoo her in.
Will you please come in, Miss Wonderly?
Thank you. Mr. Spade?
Yeah, that's right. What can I do for you, Miss Wonderly?
Well, I don't know where to start. I inquired at the hotel for the name of a reliable detective, and they mentioned yours.
I suppose you tell me about it from the very beginning.
Well, I'm from New York, and I'm trying to find my sister. I have reason to believe that she's here in San Francisco with a man named Thursby, Floyd Thursby. I don't know where she met him. I suppose we've never been as close as sisters ought to be. Otherwise, she might have told me she was planning on running away with him. Mother and father are in Honolulu. This would kill them. I've got to get her back before they come home. And they're coming home on the 1st of the month.
You've had word of your sister?
A letter from her about 2 weeks ago. It said nothing except that she was all right. I sent her a telegram begging her to come back. I sent it to General Delivery, which is the only address she gave me. I waited a week and no answer came. So I decided to come here myself. I wrote her that I was coming. I suppose I shouldn't have done that, should I?
Well, it's not always easy to tell what to do. You haven't found her.
No. I told her in my letter that I'd be at the St. Mark and for her to meet me there. I waited 3 whole days. She didn't come, didn't even send me a message.
Go on.
It was horrible waiting. Yesterday afternoon, I went to the post office and Corinne didn't come to pick up her mail, but Floyd Thursby did.
Did you speak to him?
He wouldn't tell me where Corinne was. He said she didn't want to see me. I can't believe that. He promised to bring her to the hotel if she would come. But he said he knew she wouldn't come, so he promised to come himself if she didn't.
Hiya, Sam. Say, I'm sorry. Excuse me.
Oh, it's all right, Miles. Come in. Miss Wonderly, this is my partner, Miles Archer.
How do you do?
Mr. Archer.
Anything I can do, Sam?
Miss Wonderly's sister ran away from New York with a fellow named Floyd Thursby.
Uh-huh.
They're here in San Francisco. Miss Wonderly has seen Thursby and has a date with him tonight at the St. Mark. He'll bring her sister with him, but the chances are he won't. Miss Wonderly wants us to find the sister and get her away from him and back home, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yes, but you must be careful. I'm deathly afraid of him, of what he might do. She's so young, and him bringing her here from New York is such a serious... Well, mightn't he do something to her?
Just leave that to us. We'll know how to handle him.
I want you to know that he is a dangerous man. I honestly don't think he'd stop at anything. I don't think he'd hesitate to kill Corinne if he thought it would save him.
Could he cover up by marrying her?
No, he has a wife and 3 children in England.
Yes, they usually do, though not always in England. What time is he coming to see you?
After 8 o'clock.
All right, Miss Wonderly. We'll have a man there.
Oh, no, Sam. This is too important for that. I'll look after it myself, Miss Wonderly.
Oh, thank you.
Not at all.
Oh, I brought some money. Will 200 be enough?
Yes. Oh, and by the way, it would be helpful if you would meet Thursby in the lobby.
Oh, I will.
You don't have to look for me, Miss Wonderly. I'll see you all right.
Thank you so much. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, Miss Wonderly. I'll see you tonight.
Well, Miles, what do you think of her?
Oh, maybe you saw her first, Sam, but I spoke first.
I wasn't talking about her figure. What about her story?
Well, what about?
You've got a great brain, Miles. Yes, you have. Hello. Yeah, speaking. Miles Archer dead. Where? A Bush in Stockton, 15 minutes, thanks. Hello, Effie, it's me. Now, listen, Precious. Miles has been shot. Yeah, dead. Now, don't get excited. Yeah. Now, you'll have to break the news to his wife. I'd fry first and keep her away from me. Now, that's a good girl. Now, get right over there. You're an angel. Bye. I hurried down to Bush and Stockton. I found a beat cop working crowd control.
What do you want down here?
I'm Sam Spade, officer. Detective Polhouse phoned.
Oh, I didn't know you at first. They're back there.
Hello, Sam. I figured you want to see it before we took him away, seeing how he's your partner.
Thanks, Tom. What happened?
Got him right through the pump with this. It's a Webley. English, ain't it?
Yeah, Webley Fosbury, 45 automatic 8-shot. They don't make them anymore. How many gone out of it?
Just one. Shot up close, too. Blast burned his coat.
Who found him?
Man on the beat. His gun was tucked away on his hips. It hadn't been fired. His overcoat was buttoned. Found a $100 bill in his vest pocket and 30-some bucks in his pants. You want to have a look at him before we get him away?
No, you've seen everything I could.
Was he working, Sam? Well?
Yeah, he was tailing a guy named Thursby.
What for?
We wanted to find out where he lived.
It's tough him getting it like that, ain't it? I mean, Miles had his faults just like the rest of us, but I guess he must have had some good points, too.
I guess so. Now, don't crowd me, Tom. I've got to go break the news to his wife. Miss Wonderly, please. Huh? Checked out. What time? Oh. Any forwarding address? Thanks.
All right, Spade, open up. We know you're in there, Spade. Come on.
Who is it?
It's Dundee and Polehouse. We want to speak to you.
Come in, Lieutenant. You guys pick swell hours to do your visiting in. Don't you know it's 3 a.m?
We don't have any hours on the force, Spade.
Hello, Tom.
Did you break the news to Miles' wife, Sam?
I don't know anything about women.
Since when?
What kind of gun do you carry?
None. I don't like them. Of course, there are some down at the office.
You don't happen to have one here?
No.
You sure about that?
Now look around. Turn the dump upside down if you want to. I won't squawk if you've got a search warrant.
We don't want to make any trouble, Sam.
I don't like this. What are you birds sucking around here for? Tell me or get out.
Why were you tailing Thursby?
I wasn't. Miles was. And for the simple reason that we had a client.
Well, who's the client?
Sorry, I can't tell you that.
Ah, come on, be reasonable, Sam. Will you give us a break, will you? How are we going to turn up anything on Miles' killing if you won't tell us what you got?
Tom says you were in too much of a hurry to even stop and take a look at your dead partner. And you didn't go to Archer's house to tell his wife. We called your office, and the girl there said you told her to do it.
So, what of it?
I give you 10 minutes to get to a phone and do the talking to the girl. I give you 10 minutes to get to Thursby's joint, Geary and Leavenworth. You could do it easily in that time.
What's your boyfriend getting at, Tom?
Just this. Thursby was shot down in front of his hotel about a half an hour after you left Bush Street.
Take your paws off me.
What time did you get home?
Just a few minutes ahead of you. I was walking around thinking things over.
Yeah, we know you weren't here. We tried to get you on the phone. Where did you walk to?
Down to Bush Street.
Did you see anybody?
No witnesses. Well, I know where I stand now. Sorry I got up on my hind legs, boys, but you fellas trying to rope me made me nervous. Miles getting bumped off upset me, then you birds cracking foxy. But it's all right now that I know what it's all about.
Forget it, Sam.
A Thursby die?
Yeah.
How did I kill him? I forget.
He was shot in the back 4 times with a 44 or 45 from across the street. Nobody saw it, but that's how it figures.
The hotel people know anything about him?
Nothing except that he lived there a week.
Alone?
Yep, alone.
Did you find out who he was? What his name was? Well, did you?
We thought you could tell us that.
I've never seen Thursby, dead or alive.
Well, you know me, Spade. If you did it, or if you didn't, you'll get a square deal from me and most of the breaks. I don't know if I blame you much, the man that killed your partner, but that won't stop me from nailing you.
Fair enough. But I'd feel better about it if you fellas would have a drink with me. There you are, gentlemen. Drink up. Success to crime. Good morning, Effie.
Oh, probably not.
What?
When I talked to Miles' widow, she had some wild ideas.
She thinks I shot Miles?
Yeah, so you could marry her.
The cops think I shot Thursby, the guy that Miles was tailing for that Wonderly dame. Who do you think I shot?
The police really think you shot this what's-his-name? Do they? Sam, look at me. You worry me. You always think you know what you're doing, but you're too slick for your own good. Someday you're going to find it out.
Hello. Oh, hello, Miss Wonderly. Where are you? What? The Coronet on California Street, apartment 1001. Okay, I'll be right over.
Mr. Spade, I have a terrible, terrible confession to make.
Go ahead, Miss Wonderly.
That story that I told you yesterday was just a story.
Oh, that. We didn't exactly believe your story, Miss Wonderly. Is your name really Wonderly?
It's O'Shaughnessy. Bridget O'Shaughnessy.
We didn't exactly believe your story, Miss O'Shaughnessy. We believed your $200.
You mean?
I mean, you paid us more than if you had been telling the truth, and enough more to make it all right.
Tell me, Mr. Spade. Am I to blame for last night?
You warned us that Thursby was dangerous. Of course, you lied to us about your sister and all that, but that doesn't count. We didn't believe you. No, I wouldn't say you were at all at fault.
Thank you. Mr. Archer was so alive yesterday, so solid and hearty.
Stop it. He knew what he was doing. Those are the chances that we take. Anyway, there's no time for worrying about that now. Right now, there's a flock of policemen running around out there with their noses to the ground.
Do they know about me?
Not yet. I've been stalling them until I could see you.
Do they have to know about me? I mean, can't you shield me so that I won't have to answer their questions?
Maybe, but I've got to know what it's all about.
I can't tell you now. I will later when I can. You've got to trust me, Mr. Spade. Oh, I'm so alone and afraid. I've got nobody to help me. If you won't, help me. Be generous, Mr. Spade. You're brave and strong. You can spare me some of that strength and courage, surely. Help me, Mr. Spade. I know I have no right to ask you. I know I haven't, but I do ask you. Help me.
You won't need much of anybody's help. You're good. You're awfully good. It's chiefly your eyes and that throb you get in your throat when you say things like, "Be generous, Mr. Spade."
I deserve that. But the lie was in the way I said it, not at all in what I said.
I'm afraid I'm not going to be much help to you unless I have some idea of what it's all about. For instance, I've got to have some sort of a line on your Floyd Thursby.
I met him in the Orient. We came here from Hong Kong last week. He promised to help me and took advantage of my dependence on him to betray me.
Betray you? How? Why did you want him shadowed?
I wanted to know how far he'd gone, who he was meeting, things like that.
Did he kill Archer?
Yes, certainly.
He had a Luger in his shoulder holster. Archer wasn't killed with a Luger.
Floyd Thursby always carried an extra revolver in his overcoat pocket.
Why all the guns?
He lived by them.
You picked a nice sort of playmate.
Only that sort would have helped me if he had been loyal.
How bad a hole are you actually in?
As bad as it can be.
A physical danger?
I'm not a hero, and I don't think there's anything worse than death.
Then it's that.
Oh, it's that. Surely as we're sitting here, unless you help me.
Who killed Floyd Thursby? Your enemies or his?
I don't know. His, I suppose. I'm afraid, and I don't know.
Who are his enemies?
There's a small, dark man with white teeth and a smooth, dangerous, fat man.
Oh, this is hopeless. How much money have you got?
I've got about $500.
Give it to me. There's only 400 here.
I had to keep some to live on.
Okay, I'll be back as soon as I can. You needn't come to the door with me. I can let myself out.
He's back again, Sam.
Who, Effie?
The fellow who was here this morning. Here's his card.
Joel Cairo.
Mm-hmm.
Cairo. What is he, a character?
Uh-huh. Foreign type. Smells like gardenia.
Gardenia. Well, shoo him in, Effie.
Right. Will you come in, Mr. Cairo?
Sit down, Mr. Cairo.
I thank you.
What can I do for you, Mr. Cairo?
May a stranger offer condolences for your partner's unfortunate death?
Thanks.
May I ask, Mr. Spade, if there is a certain relationship between that unfortunate happening and the death a little later of the man Thursby? May I ask that?
No.
I beg your pardon. More than idle curiosity prompted my question, Mr. Spade. I'm trying to recover an ornament that has been, shall we say, mislaid. I thought and hoped you could assist me.
Aha.
The ornament is a statuette, the black figure of a bird. I'm prepared to pay the sum of $5,000 for its recovery, and no questions asked.
5,000 is an awful lot of money. Come in.
Will there be anything more for me tonight, Mr. Spade?
Oh, no. Good night, Effie, and lock the door as you go, will you?
Mm-hmm. Good night.
That's a very interesting figure.
You will put your hands together at the back of your neck, Mr. Spade.
Huh? Oh, sure.
I shall shoot you if you try to stop me, Mr. Spade. But I must search your office.
You won't find anything but a pair of worn-out rubbers, a half-pint of rum, and a pack of chewing gum.
We shall see. Please stand up. So.
Sure. This way?
No. The other way.
Sure. I'll take the gun, Mr. Cairo. Now get up.
I am very slow in things like that.
Yeah.
I'm still prepared to pay $5,000 for the return of the figure. Do you have it, Mr. Spade?
No.
If it is not here, why did you just risk serious injury to prevent my searching for it?
I should sit around and let people come into my office and stick me up?
You wish some assurance of my sincerity? A retainer?
I might.
Say $100?
You better make it 200. Thanks. Your first guess was that I had bird. Now, what's your second guess?
That you know where it is, or where you can get it.
Now, you're not hiring me to murder or do burglary, but to get back the bird in a lawful way, say from a dame with red hair or a smooth, dangerous fat man.
Oh, so you know. You must beware of them. They would stop at nothing. May I have my pistol now?
Huh. Yeah. I'd forgotten about it.
Thank you. Now, Mr. Spade, you will kindly clasp your hands behind your neck.
What the?
Don't move, Mr. Spade. Don't move. This time I might shoot. I insist on searching your office.
Sure, go ahead. I finally got rid of him and started back to Bridget's apartment. Matter of fact, I had a hunch that Cairo was going there himself, and I started to tail his cab when a sad-faced guy poked something into my back and said,
"Come on, the fat man wants to see you." Here he is, Mr. Gutman, the guy that was talking to Cairo and the dame.
Ah, Mr. Spade.
Gutman.
We begin well, sir. I distrust a man who talks too much.
I like to talk.
Of course, talking something you can't do judiciously, unless you keep in practice.
Yeah.
Now, sir, we'll talk if you like, and I'll tell you right out that I'm a man who likes talking to a man who likes to talk.
Swell. Will we talk about the black bird?
Oh, you're the man for me, sir. No beating about the bush. Right to the point. Let us talk about the black bird by all means. Mr. Spade, have you any conception of how much money can be got for that black bird?
No.
Well, sir, if I told you half, you'd call me a liar.
Oh, no, not even if I thought so. You just tell me what it is, and I'll figure out the profits.
You mean you don't know what the bird is?
Well, I know what it's supposed to look like, and I know the value in human life you people put on it.
So O'Shaughnessy didn't tell you what it is, and Cairo didn't either.
He offered me $10,000 for it.
10,000? And dollars! Not even pounds, mind you. Oh, they must know what it is. Or do they? What is your impression?
I can't tell. They're both lying.
If they don't know, I'm the only one in the whole wide sweet world who does.
Swell, when you told me that'll make two of us.
Mathematically correct, sir, but I don't know for certain that I'm going to tell you.
Don't be foolish. You know what it is. I know where it is. That's why I'm here.
Well, sir, where is it?
Don't be silly.
You see, I must tell you what I know, but you will not tell me what you know. That is hardly equitable, sir. No, I don't think we can do business along those lines.
Yeah? Well, think again and think fast. I can get along without you, and keep that gunsel away from me while you're making up your mind. I'll kill him.
Well, sir, I must say you have the most violent temper.
Well, what are you wasting time for? You've got until 5:30, and then you're either in or out for keeps. 3 characters and a black bird. All I knew was that my partner was dead, and the cops were getting very uncooperative about the whole thing, including who killed Floyd Thursby. I thought I'd better get back to see that O'Shaughnessy dame before it was too late. Sure enough, it almost was.
They came here and took him away.
Took who away? Who?
The police. They wanted to talk to you, too. They took Mr. Cairo with them.
What was he doing here?
He came to talk about the bird.
What is this bird, this falcon that everybody's all steamed up about?
What if I wouldn't tell you anything? Anything at all about it? What would you do? Something wild and unpredictable?
Maybe.
Well, it's a black figure, as you know, smooth and shiny, of a bird, a hawk or a falcon, about 12 inches high.
What makes it so important?
I don't know. They wouldn't tell me, but they promised me 500 pounds if I helped them get it from the man who had it.
Go ahead.
They promised me 500 pounds to help them, and I did. And then we found that Joel Cairo was going to take the falcon and desert Floyd and me. So we did that to Joel first. But then I wasn't any better off than before because Floyd hadn't any intentions of keeping his word and sharing equally. I had learned that by the time we got here.
What's the bird made of?
Porcelain or black stone? I don't know.
You are a liar.
I am a liar. I've always been a liar.
Well, don't brag about it. Is there any truth at all in that yarn?
Not much. That's some.
Well, we've got plenty of time. I'll put on some coffee and we'll try it again.
I'm so tired. So tired of lying and thinking up lies and not knowing what is a lie and what is the truth. Darling, don't stare at me like that. Come closer, darling.
It is something to do while we're waiting.
Kiss me, Sam Spade. Kiss me.
It happens every time. I'll get it.
Be careful, darling.
Okay, come on, you. He wants to see you.
Well, if it isn't the fat man's killer. Hello, Paleface. How many'd you bump off today?
Oh, keep on riding me. You'll be picking iron out of your liver.
Yeah. The cheaper the crook, the gaudier the patter, huh?
Darling, what does he want?
He wants me. The fat man's been thinking things over.
Well, Mr. Spade, I must apologize to you for sending for you in this fashion.
And never mind. Let's talk about the bird.
All right, let's. What do you know of the Order of the Hospital of St. John of Jerusalem?
Crusaders or something, weren't they?
Very good. In 1539, these crusading knights persuaded the Emperor Charles V to give them the island of Malta. He made but one condition. They were to pay him each year the tribute of a falcon in acknowledgement that Malta was still under Spain. Do you follow me?
Yeah.
Have you any conception of the extreme, immeasurable wealth of the order at that time?
Well, I would imagine they were pretty well fixed.
They were rolling in wealth, sir. They hit upon the happy thought of sending their emperor for the first year's tribute Not an insignificant live bird, but a glorious golden falcon, encrusted from head to foot with the finest jewels in their coffers. Allow me to replenish your drink, sir. Well, what do you think of these knights?
I don't know.
Well, sir, the glorious falcon never reached Spain. Buccaneers raided the galleon. In 1713, the bird showed up in Sicily. In 1840, in Paris. And it had by that time acquired a coat of black enamel, looking like nothing but a fairly interesting black statue. In 1923, a Greek dealer found it in an obscure Paris shop. He knew what it was. I heard about it in London and rushed over to buy it. But the Greek was murdered and the falcon gone. That was 23 years ago. For 23 years, I've searched for the bird. I traced it to the home of the Russian General Kamadov, but he wouldn't sell, even though he knew nothing of its value. I was forced to send my agents after it. They got it, sir, but I haven't got it. But I'm going to get it, sir. How soon are you willing to produce the falcon?
Couple of days.
That is satisfactory. Well, sir, here's to a fair bargain and profits large enough for both of us.
Well, what's your idea of a fair bargain?
Shall I say 100,000?
Why not?
What would you say to 250,000?
Oh, then you think the thing is worth $1 million?
Why not?
Yeah, why not? Hey, I feel kind of funny, Gutman. That drink.
Oh, my dear man, how could you suggest anything so crude? Wilma? Wilma!
Yeah? Oh, the drink got him, huh?
Put your guns away, Wilma. You must learn to be subtle in these things, like me.
Out like a light, huh? I owe him something, the louse. He thinks he's so tough. Let's see if he can take this. This.
That's enough, Wilma. You've kicked him enough. We must be going, and it'll never do to kill him here. Besides, Wilma, you know how I hate the sight of blood.
In a moment, you will hear part 2 of the Maltese Falcon. But first, we want to thank Warner Brothers for making this story available. And one thing more. On August 6th, Warner Brothers will celebrate the 20th anniversary of Sound Pictures. We congratulate Warner Brothers on this historic anniversary. And now, the House of Squib presents Part 2 of Academy Award, starring Humphrey Bogart in The Maltese Falcon.
I guess the name of Sam Spade was a cinch for the back page obituaries, but I came out of it somehow and managed to pull myself together. After splashing some water on my face, I gave Gutman's apartment a good going over. In the wastebasket, I found a newspaper folded to the steamship news. There was a list of arrivals, and one was marked. It said 5:35 p.m., the La Paloma from Hong Kong. That was good enough for me. I got a cab and rode down to the docks. The La Paloma was on fire from stem to stern, and it was burning beautifully. I went back to my office to hold my aching head and think things over when the door opened and a tall guy in a long black overcoat stood there with a package in his hands, making gurgling noises before he fell like a tree. He should have. He was dead. I reached into his coat and found his wallet. His name was Jacoby, first mate off the La Paloma. I unwrapped the package, and there it was, the black bird, the Maltese Falcon. I grabbed the phone and listened. It was Bridget O'Shaughnessy, and she said she was in trouble. I found her shivering on a dark corner next to an office building. I took her and the Falcon home to my apartment. I put her on the couch. I put the Falcon in the icebox where no one would think to look for anything, including ice. I came back in and switched on the lights and found a surprise party waiting to greet me.
Well, sir, we're all here. Now let's sit down and be comfortable and talk.
Sure. Get away from me, Gunsel. You're not gonna frisk me.
Stand still. Shut up.
Put your paw on me and I'm gonna make you use that gun. Ask your boss if he wants me shot up before we talk.
Never mind, Wilma. You're certainly a most headstrong individual, Mr. Spade. Well, let's be seated.
You too, Cairo. You can put down your gun too.
Of course, Mr. Spade. I was only using caution, as it were.
Are you ready, Gutman? Are you ready to make the first payment and take the Falcon off my hands?
Well, sir, as to that, here are $10,000.
Oh, we were talking about more money than this.
Yes, sir, we were. But this is genuine coin of the realm, sir. With $1 of this, you can buy $10 of talk. Besides, there are more of us to be taken care of now.
That may be, but I've got the Falcon.
I should not think it would be necessary to remind you, Mr. Spade, that though you may have the Falcon, yet we certainly have you.
Yes, I'm trying not to let that worry me. I will come to the money later. There's another thing to be taken care of first. We've got to have a fall guy. The police have to have a victim, somebody they can stick for these 3 murders.
2. Only 2 murders, Mr. Spade. Thursby undoubtedly killed your partner.
All right, 2. What difference does it make? The point is, we've got to give the police...
Come, Mr. Spade. You can't expect us to believe at this late date. You are the least afraid of the police. Or that you're not able to handle...
I'm up to my neck, Gutman. I've got to come through with somebody, a victim, when the time comes. If I don't, I'll be it. Let's give him the Gunsel. He actually did shoot Thursby and Jacoby, didn't he? Anyway, he's made to order for the part. Let's turn him over to the cops.
Get up on your feet. I've taken all the riding from you I'm gonna take. Get up! Shoot it out!
Now, Wilma, don't shoot.
There, Gunsel. That'll take care of you. Put him on the sofa. Sorry, Bridget, but you seem to have recovered.
I'm all right.
Good. Well, gentlemen, there's our fall guy. Now, gentlemen, you agree or I'll turn the Falcon and the whole lot of you in.
Mr. Spade, I don't like this. What if we, took matters into our own hands and killed you?
You won't, or you'll never find the Falcon.
True. But there are other ways. We could make you talk.
No, I'd take it and make you kill me, and then you'd end up the same way.
I believe you would too.
Well?
I've always felt toward Wilma like a father. But you can have him.
Now let's get the details fixed. Why did he shoot Thursby?
Thursby was Miss O'Shaughnessy's ally. We thought that in disposing of him, we could teach Miss O'Shaughnessy to patch up her differences with us.
And the mate from the La Paloma?
That was Miss O'Shaughnessy's fault. Cairo got in touch with me when he saw the notice of the ship's arrival. He remembered that the first mate and Miss O'Shaughnessy had been friendly in Hong Kong. He called on this man, but he, with Miss O'Shaughnessy and the bird, slipped through our fingers. We followed them to her apartment, and Wilma shot the mate as he was coming down the fire escape. He shot him many times, but the man was tough. He did not drop the Falcon. We persuaded Miss O'Shaughnessy to call your office, but unfortunately she did not call in time to prevent you from meeting the mate and getting the Falcon.
I see.
And now, sir, would it be presumptuous if we were to ask to see the Falcon?
Okay. It's in my icebox.
Icebox? I say! Oh, you are a character, sir. Yes, very clever of you. Very.
I've got it, sir. I've got it.
Bring it in here at once.
Here. Wrapped in this.
Oh, now, after 23 years. Oh, it is it. Oh, let me make sure. Hand me your knife, sir.
Here.
I'll peel off some of this disfiguring enamel. Wait. It's a fake.
All right, O'Shaughnessy, you've had your little joke. Now tell us about it.
No, Sam. No. That's the one I got from the Russian, I swear.
You bungled it, Gutman. You and your stupid attempt to buy it. The Russian caught on how valuable it was. No wonder we had so little trouble stealing it. You imbecile! You bloated idiot!
Yes. This is the Russian's hand. There's no doubt of it. Well, sir, what do you suggest? Shall we stand here and shed tears and call each other names? Or shall we go to Istanbul and interview our Russian friend?
Go to Istanbul?
For 23 years I've wanted that little item and have been trying to get it. If I must spend another year on the quest, well, that will be an added expenditure in time only.
I'll go with you. Wilma's gone.
Wilma's gone. So he has. Oh, that makes it imperative that we go too. Oh, by the way, sir, I'll trouble you for my envelope containing the $10,000.
I kept my end of the bargain, but I'll settle for $1,000 for my expenses.
Thank you, sir. I'll allow you the $1,000.
That'll take care of my time.
Now, sir, we'll say goodbye to you, unless you care to undertake the Istanbul expedition with us. You don't. That's too bad. Well, sir, the shortest farewells are best. Adieu. Oh, and to you, Miss O'Shaughnessy. I leave the rara avis there on the table as a little memento. The Maltese Falcon.
Hello, is Sergeant Polehouse there? Yeah, put him on. This is Samuel Spade. Hello, Tom. Now listen, I've got something for you. Thursby and Jacoby were killed by a kid named Wilmer Cook. Yeah, he's about 20 years old, 5'6", wearing a gray overcoat. He's working for a man named Casper Gutman. You can't miss Gutman. He must weigh 300 pounds. That fellow Cairo is in with them, too. They just left here for the Alexandria Hotel, but you'll have to move fast. They're blowing town. Now, watch yourself when you go up against the kid. Yes, that's right. Very. Good luck, Tom. All right, O'Shaughnessy, they'll talk when they're nailed about us. We're sitting on dynamite. We've only got minutes to get set for the police. Now, give it all to me, fast. When you first came to my office, why did you want Thursby shadowed?
I told you, Sam. I thought he was betraying me, and I wanted to find out.
That's a lie. You had Thursby hooked, and you wanted to get rid of him before Jacoby came with the loot, so you wouldn't have to split it with him. Isn't that so? What was your scheme?
I thought if he knew someone was following him, he'd be frightened into going away.
Miles wasn't clumsy enough to be spotted the first night. You told Thursby he was being followed.
I told him, yes. But please believe me, Sam. I wouldn't have told him if I'd thought Floyd would kill your partner.
Miles hadn't many brains, but he had too many years of experience as a detective to be caught like that by a man he was shadowing up a blind alley with a gun tucked away on his hip and his overcoat buttoned. But he'd have gone up there with you, Angel. He was just dumb enough for that. He'd have looked you up and down and licked his lips and gone, grinning from ear to ear. Then you could have stood as close to him in the dark as you liked and put a bullet through him with the gun you got from Thursby.
Don't talk to me that way, Sam. You know I didn't know.
Stop it. Why did you kill Miles?
I didn't mean to at first. Really, I can't look at you and say this.
You thought Thursby would tackle him. If he got Thursby, you were rid of him. If Thursby won, you had something on him, enough to be rid of him for good. Wasn't that it?
Something like that.
But when Thursby backed down and you took the gun and did the job yourself.
Oh, Sam, sweetheart. From the very first moment I saw you,
You, Angel. Well, if you get a good break, you'll be out of Tehachapi in about 20 years. And you come back to me then. I hope they don't hang you by that precious sweet neck of yours.
You know deep down in your heart that in spite of everything I've done, I love you.
I don't care who loves who. I'm not going to play the sap for you. I won't walk in Thursby's and how many others' footsteps. You killed my partner and you're going over for it.
Why must you do this to me? Surely your partner wasn't as much to you as...
Listen to me. This won't do any good. You'll never understand me, but I'll try once and then give it up. Listen, when a man's partner is killed, you're supposed to do something about it. And it happens we're in the detective business. Well, when one of your organization gets killed, it's bad business to let the killer get away with it. Bad all around. Bad for every detective, everywhere.
You can't send me to the... Sam, you can't. You love me. You know you do.
Maybe I do. What of it? Maybe next month I won't. I've been through it before. I'll have some rotten nights after I've sent you over, but sure, that'll pass. I want you, sure, but I won't take you at the price, because all of me wants to, regardless of the consequences, and because you counted on that with me, like you counted on that with all the others.
Would you have done this to me if the Falcon had been real, and you'd gotten your money?
Don't be too sure I'm as crooked as I'm supposed to be. That sort of reputation might be good business, bringing high-priced jobs and making it easier to deal with the enemy. But a lot more money would have been one more item on your side of the scale.
If you loved me, you wouldn't have needed any more on that side. Oh, Sam, darling, kiss me. Kiss me.
Come in. Oh, hello, Tom. Lieutenant. They got him?
Got him.
Well, here's another one for you. She killed Miles, and I've got some exhibits. The boy's guns, one of Cairo's, and the $1,000 bill I was supposed to be bribed with. What's the matter with your little playmate, Tom? The lieutenant looks broken-hearted. I'll bet when he heard Gutman's story, he thought he had me.
Come on, cut it out, Sam.
Well, shall we be getting down to the hall?
Let's go, miss. Here's your coat.
Oh, and Tom, You probably want to take this black statuette here. It's what all the fuss was about.
Okay. Yeah, it looks heavy. What is it?
The stuff that dreams are made of.
This is John Jensen bidding you good night until next time at this same time when you're invited to listen again to Academy Award, presented by the House of Squib, a name you can trust. Our cast this evening included Lynda Day George as Bridget O'Shaughnessy, Brad Zinn as Sam Spade, Melinda Peterson as Effie Perrine, Ivan Curry as Detective Polhouse, Philip Proctor as Lieutenant Dundee, Ben Tyler as Casper Gutman, Gene Gansel as Joel Cairo, David Osman as Miles Archer, Brian Hendrickson as Wilmer Cook, Brian Haygood as the police officer, and I'm John Jensen, your announcer. Our director is Ben Tyler. Our editor is Gene Gansel. Production consultant, Greg Oppenheimer. This production is a project of Brad Zinn Entertainment Enterprises in association with the radio enthusiasts of Puget Sound. Please stay tuned for an interview with Lynda Day George immediately following. On behalf of all of us at Reps, thank you for tuning in.